Hey everybody, TX20916. We're working on the Shore Trooper today. We're working on all the soft parts. So I know Jim's done a lot of work with the soft armor, but I thought I'd save myself some money and sew it myself. A lot of people have been buying the ribbed sweaters and stuff online, but I thought I would do my best at doing it on my own. So what I started with is just some headliner foam, which you can get at Joann's fairly cheap, and then just a generic t-shirt pattern and some cloth. So the CRL as we know it right now just calls for kind of a gray cloth. So this is a gray jersey knit right here. And then what I do is I take my pattern for my shirt. I cut out all the pieces, obviously. And what I did is I kind of mirrored it off what Jim did and what his tailor did. But what I would do is I'd cut those pieces out of the headliner foam. And then what I would do is I'd lay over on both sides. Here, if you look right here, you can kind of see. So I've cut you can see the headliner foam in the center. And that's what it looks like. It's black on one side and kind of foamy on the other side. And then what I did is I folded over a piece of cloth over that, so it gives it on both sides, right? So instead of just having the cloth on one side of it, I have it on both. So here's a finished piece of stuff that I did. You can see the ribs. They're rough. They're about, I think, 1/8 of an inch, just about, which is what the CRL, as we know it so far, calls for. And so what I did is, since I cut out the pieces individually out of the craft foam already, and then laid the stuff over, I have the individual pieces. So I'm not sewing just blanket pieces of the ribbed fabric, which some people say that they had luck with. I think that's just too much. The ribbing is taking me forever. And this is the progress of a couple days. I have the sleeves as well. But this is kind of what Jim's looks like a little bit. So we have this part not sewn in. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take a little bit of the normal fabric that I used for here, and I'm just gonna make the center part, because that mesh stuff that Jim uses, I found hard to find actually. So I'm just gonna use the normal t-shirt material that I've been using for the center part. So this is the front. As you can see, the pieces are all ribbed. And I have the black ribbing the right way as well. So it's opposite of the way the shoulders are. I don't know if you can see it or catch that in any of the video. But I'll run you through how I've been doing it. So that's how I cut out the pieces, right? And if you look here, we'll go over to the sewing machine. Here, I'm gonna take over the camera real quick.
Okay, that works.
Let's see if I can get into here. So what I did on the sewing machine, there we go, is I expanded it, right? So I made my stitches a little bit bigger, right? So I think about 2.5 was the standard where it started off at. And I increased that to 4.5. So what that's going to do is that's going to give you a more noticeable stitch, right? So you're going to be able to see that a lot more. The difference between your standard and this one is significantly different. I could probably actually even show you here. Take the camera back.
Okay.
So I'll show you real quick what the standard stitch looks like, real quick, which is 2.5. Right, yep, right on there. And I'll just a piece of scrap fabric that I was using earlier. Down my thing. This is your standard stitch. Cut it.
I'm gonna do that. You can see it better.
Yeah, just hang on. And then I'll increase my stitching width to what I've been doing the ribs with. Cut it. Alright, so if you take a look at that, you can see the pretty good difference. Ooh, let's see, focus. You can see the difference in it. Now, obviously, I just sewed it really, really fast, so it's a little bit jagged, but you can see the difference in the stitching a lot, just on this piece of scrap. So anyways, so we'll get to the ribbing. What I did is I kind of centered everything so that basically every time I go down, here, let's see if we can get that on the camera real quick. Let me turn off my, oh no, I can't really turn off light.
Yeah.
Can I cover it?
No.
I actually don't even know where the light is on this thing. There we go. All right, so here, go down closer to the stitching.
Like right here.
Right about there. So what I did is I lined everything. Oh, actually, that works perfectly. What I did is I lined up my needle, right, on my sewing machine, so that when I put my foot down, right, what I'm lining everything up with is I'm lining my old stitch up with the edge of my foot, so it makes it really, really easy to get perfect lines every time. So you can see this is all done by hand. All this ribbing takes a while, by the way. I hope you have patience. But so you can go down the same line every time doing it that way. And then all you have to do is measure out where you need your machine's needle at to make the correct size of ribs. So 1/8 inch is what they were shown on the CRL. And I'll just give you a real quick preview of about how it goes and how long that each rib takes.
Okay, so
Each rib isn't the problem. You have to just hold it right there, baby. Thank you.
right here.
So what I'll do is get my thread out of the way.
Like your hands also like
Oh,
it's like,
here,
to like do
here,
it like
hold it right up. Stand up,
Okay.
and hold it right there.
Okay, that works.
Okay, so what I do is I kind of line up right on the edge of where my old stitch was. Give it a couple back and forths just to set that stitch. And then I just run down and keep this edge right on my old line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of feel with my thumb right here. I can feel the edge of the foam to know where I need to stop. One more. And then I just back it up a little bit just to make sure I go back onto the foam with my reverse stitch, because since the cloth isn't exactly cut, right? It's just folded over. I just have a generic square piece of cloth. Back the camera up. Since I have a square piece of cloth, right, on the original thing, I'm gonna have to cut the pattern back out. So basically, I cut back out the foam. It's really, really easy. You don't have to put the pattern back over it, but you have to make sure that your sewing lines aren't gonna come undone once you cut it back out. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing I did notice after doing this is that even though you cut your pieces for your pattern, they actually end up just maybe, I think it was about 5/8 of an inch or so from where it was. So, because when you're sewing it, what's happening is it's compressing the fabric very, very slowly. Back the camera up.
Okay.
It's compressing the fabric very, very slowly, and just a little bit. So by the end of this big, long piece, what's happening is it's compressing the fabric it was about 5/8 of an inch or so, shorter than it was. So what I did on a couple of the pieces is I extended the pieces, the width of the piece, or actually length, it would be the length of these pieces and the width of the black pieces by about 5/8 of an inch on the pattern, to accommodate for the pulling and everything. So depending on the stitches, so the stitches go up and down on this way, you'd want to back it out.
Okay.
It goes up and down on this way.
Show the stitches.
That's okay. You'd want to expand it this way, right? So you want to expand it with the lines, right? So like on these ones, you'd want to expand it up higher since the ribs go this way on here. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's what I've been working on. Oh, and here's Jim's. So I have a.
Wait, who's Jim?
Don't worry about it. So here's Jim's, and here's mine. So you can kind of see Jim's looks a little bit different. His lines. Here, I'll take the camera.
You do that.
His lines are a little bit different. He used a little bit different cloth. Maybe my lines would be a little bit smoother if I doubled up on the foam that I was using.
But that would take care.
But I didn't do it that way. This is the way I did it. I think by itself it looks pretty good, and I think it's going to be really, really durable the way that I've been doing it, especially since I've been setting each stitch and everything, and the weave's pretty good. So hopefully it'll look good when it's all done. You can see there, that's just where I attached the front part to the collar device. I left a little bit of extra cloth right here on the collar. And that's just to attach the neck seal, or not attach the neck seal and kind of fold it over later. I wasn't really sure exactly what I wanted to do yet. So I just left a little bit just in case. Anyways, I'll keep you guys up to date, and thanks for watching.